This is the Coach John Walsh pregame show with John Piper and Rik Thrailkill, only on the Denton Geyer Football Radio Network.
Welcome to the show. I'm John Piper, joined by Rik Thrailkill. You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spreaker.com, Spotify, or now on the iHeartRadio app. Let's bring in Coach John Walsh. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
Excellent.
You've had several marquee matchups already this season. None bigger than Southlake last Friday night. We jumped out to 14-0 lead, and then we had a little bit of a lull, and Southlake kind of poured it on us for a while. But, you know, we finished strong. We never quit. I mean, we were in that thing. You know, I think John and I were ready to pack everything up. It looked sort of hopeless, and then long touchdown, another quick touchdown, and then we got our energy back there for a second, and we held on to that glimmer of hope until that final interception at the end. But it says a lot about this team that they didn't quit.
Yeah, I was proud of that too. But after watching video, just still, you know, it was disappointing that we didn't, you know, put the nail in the coffin when we had chances. And we preached a quick start because we hadn't had good starts the last couple of games, and we came out with a great start, got a couple turnovers on defense, scored consecutive drives, and it's 14-0 started the second quarter, and then we got a chance to go up, a really good chance to go up 21-0, and some lack of execution. We didn't get there, and then we started to turnover. We matched their two turnovers with two turnovers, and they capitalized, and still felt good after we had the ball. I think it was 25-18, knowing we get the ball after the half. And we ran a little counter play, and Camden, you know, was supposed to go vertical, and we saw him open, so we said, all right, let's come back with the play action. And that strip sack right there was a big momentum killer, because we figured, you know, we at least, no, it's 21-18. We're still up. No, 25-18, they're up. Or whatever the heck it was. I don't know. But we had a chance to take the lead. No, it's 21-18, we got the lead. Yeah. We had the lead 21-18 with a chance to increase the lead and get the ball. So if you look up the history of football, momentum is a huge part of it, and there's no bigger momentum than to really capitalize before the half and to capitalize right after the half. And we had it in our grips and just didn't get that done.
Yeah, Coach.
Yeah, we saw him running wide open into the end zone, too. If he has a half a second longer, get that throw off, it's probably a touchdown.
Yep.
Yeah, Rik and I were talking, you know, I think with about 1:07 left, something like that in the first half. Geyer has the ball, or a minute and a half, something like that, and we're thinking, wow, Geyer goes in and punches it in, and like you just said, all the momentum in the world, and Southlake gets the ball back. We actually were joined by Coach Florence with about 12 seconds left in the half, right as Southlake scored, and he felt like he jinxed it and everything. But you know, that's just part of football. You know, it doesn't always bounce around.
Right, no doubt. It was that was a pretty good dagger at it. But again, we fought back, and then I'm looking at the clock. There's 2:38 left. We still had two timeouts, and it was 2nd and 8. And if we can just get one stop right there. I planned on using those two timeouts on 3rd down and 4th down, and I felt like we were running right by them, and if they were backing up, Eli was running the draw for big chunks, that we'd still go win the football game. So what I told the kids, you play a top 10 team, you turn the ball over 4 times, you only see their punter 1 time, and we still got a chance at the end of the game to win it. It shows that we're freaking good, but it also, I think it showed them that the things I've been telling them, it just ain't going to happen. You're not going to just win because you put a silver hat on. You got to go win that thing, and turnovers are killer. And then we got to get off the field defensively.
Well, Coach, one thing you ran into, he a very good quarterback in his own right, the sophomore Quinn Ewers, threw for 331 yards and rushed for 117 yards. You may have faced him on the best night of his career. What can you say about the sophomore quarterback?
Yeah, I'm very impressed, you know, because on film, out of 95 completions coming into our game, 57 of them were at the line of scrimmage. all those quick screens, and nobody's made him throw the intermediate stuff. And when he has, he was 53% completion percentage. So we took the screens away, we took the zone away, and the kid answered. He threw the intermediate stuff right on the money. A lot, there were times where kids were open, but there were a lot of times where it had to be put on that right shoulder because we're on his left shoulder, and those receivers were real physical and caught everything thrown.
Well, the stat line, fairly even. You win the rushing war, they win the passing war, but 24 first downs to Southlake's 23. They had a little over 500 yards total offense. Geyer 442. Like you mentioned, Coach, turnovers. 4 turnovers at very costly times of the game were probably the difference. We felt, up there in the booth.
Yeah, there's no question it's a difference. And it's an old coaching adage. You got to win the turnover ratio. And a lot of times in games we play, it doesn't really matter. But when you're playing in the playoffs, or you're playing guys like Southlake, it definitely does matter. And that's what I told our kids after the game. I told them, I said, a lot of people, you're going to go home and your mom and dad are going to say, this loss is not going to define us, but it dang sure is going to define you. It's either going to define you the bad way, or it's going to define you the good way. And it's my job to make sure that those turnovers and the results that came out of it and the feeling that we had, that we don't feel it again. And I ended it with them saying, I've coached in 6 semifinal ball games and 3 title games, and I've never been undefeated going into it. So you get to choose what kind of team you want to be and how you handle adversity.
Yeah, that's a great point. Coach, we saw where Eli got banged up a little bit. For the record, he finished the game, but understand he was favoring his shoulder a little bit. Anything to report? How's he looking so far this week in practice?
Yeah, he's a little sore. We went ahead and took him to the doctor, our team doctor, and got an MRI to make sure everything was okay. And yeah, he's perfectly fine. He's got a muscle strain behind his shoulder, a little bone bruise on his AC joint, but nothing that's going to keep him from he may not play all the time this week. He may be a part-time player this week just to get him healthy, but he's going to be available if needed.
Well, Coach, I know you broke down film on Southlake, like you mentioned, made some adjustments, preparing for Keller Timber Creek. You mentioned practice Monday and Tuesday. You got to like the weather, a little break in the weather. Defense clearly missed Trace Jewell this past week. We missed a lot of tackles in open field, had a few holes in the middle of our secondary pass coverage. Who's going to step up this week and take on that challenge?
Yeah, there is, when you lose a starter, it takes a while to recover. So we got, Zion Settles is still back there, but we've made we got Tyler Jarrett's going to see some time this week to see if he's caught up and learning what he's going to do. And we moved the linebacker back there, one of our better playmakers named Santi Canoe. He's going to play back there as well.
Well, we're back on the road this week. Thursday night, another Thursday night game, another short week. Coach, I know you always say that, practice is overrated at this point in the year. You just need a couple of days a week to get all fine-tuned. So I'm sure you're going to have the team ready to go. But any adjustments or schemes or anything on that side of the ball that might be a little tweaked or a little different? And, what do we know about Timber Creek?
Well, with Timber Creek defensively is very multiple. They're wearing wristbands. They're calling different defenses. And when I say multiple, they're all over the place. And they can do it by just raising the finger and them looking down at the wristband line up at different spots. So what that does to us, it makes us real simple. If you try to get too formational and too cute with people lining up everywhere, then you find yourself in a bind. So we're going to be simple. We're going to line up, and we're going to come off the ball, try to hit them in the mouth, and then throw it around a little bit, and just take care of ourselves. It's been good because it is a short week to have to be simple, and really it's been good for this short week just get the bad taste out of our mouth.
Well, Coach, like I mentioned, we've been enjoying, Rick and I have been enjoying having these live segments at halftime. We bring on guests. We've had Dr. Perry on, John Lands, and this past week we had Coach Flo, Denton ISD's athletic director. he was very complimentary of the job you're doing. I did not get a chance to ask him about that ninth grade C team stipend, so shame on me for that one. But and he mentioned something that caught me by surprise. I know there's some planned construction in the bond, but he threw out a number, $40 million in planned improvements at Geyer High School. Can you tell us a little bit about the construction timeline and how that impacts athletics?
Yeah, and I'll first just say, Joey built his field house, I don't know how many years ago it was, when he was still the head coach at Ryan High School, and kind of ahead of his time, and did an unbelievable job of how they structured it over there. So he got to do it at Braswell. They did the new Denton High plan and then got to our plan. So I've been lucky enough just to I get to go in these meetings just agree because, the way it's put together is top notch. I think Denton ISD is going to have some of the best athletic facilities in the state or in the country. There'll be small colleges coming in and be envious, but yeah, it's going to affect everybody. We're taking care of the gym sports. You're going to have bigger locker rooms, and it's much needed. Digital scoreboards, inside and outside. We're gonna remodel the field house we currently have with less sports in it. State-of-the-art training room. We're moving the softball field by the tennis courts and building a field house out there for softball and tennis, adding tennis courts. There's going to be, when it's all said and done, there's going to be 4 weight room facilities out here. An additional turf field. We're going to turf the softball, turf the baseball field. So, yeah, it's going to be, and in the timeline, January, there's going to be tractors rolling out here moving that softball field. I think this is our last year on this softball field, and then when that thing gets moved, we're building a field house right there where the softball field is with 2 turf fields coming out of it. So it's going to be something when it's all done.
Wow, exciting stuff. Exciting times ahead on the Geyer campus.
No question.
Coach, we're big favorites over Timber Creek this week, no doubt. What will it take to twofold questions? What will it take to keep the team motivated? I don't think we need a 70-0 win. Numbers kind of are skewed and don't always matter. But what does it take to get, a good solid win, take control of the game, dominate the game, sort of get our chest puffed up back again, and take this thing Thursday night?
Yeah, I think just great execution. Forget the numbers. If we just execute and do the things that we're supposed to do consistently, then the numbers will take care of itself, and that scoreboard is going to look like it needs to. I don't know their punter's number right now, but I better know it a lot before that game gets over. And then, again, for us, I want to come out, turnover free. And again, we're going to have multiple quarterbacks playing. I'm going to try to keep Eli. He'll play some, but not a lot. So there's going to be a couple other kids play, which is going to make that hard. But I'm excited about those guys getting the opportunity.
Yeah, I got 2 of Camden's his so-called uncles, my 2 best Army buddies. We've been friends 35 years. They'll be here this weekend, and they're coming to watch the game, watch him play. And he got a chance to play last week, so they're pretty excited about it. I told them that this might not be the highest scoring game all year, but they're going to get to see a mean, pissed off Geyer team. So I think they'll get to see some ornery defense for sure.
Yeah, there hasn't been a whole lot of smiling going on around here this week, so I think you're correct in your statement of what kind of attitude we'll be bringing to the field.
You suffer your first loss, albeit like against a really good quality opponent, right? So, and like you said, we shot ourselves in the foot several times. Nobody likes to win, and we'd love to be 10-0. I guess it's kind of a star on your chest and a little a saying for the locker room. But truth be told, you can learn a lot from that. It can be motivational, and like you said, none of your championship teams were undefeated. As a matter of fact, not that many championship teams throughout all sports. I think Nick Saban's had one undefeated championship team at Alabama. So what was your message what can we learn from the South Lake game? How can we take this